Hello, everyone. I'm Chester44, also known as Fly, and welcome to this Let's Play of Pillars of Eternity 2: Deadfire. Last episode, we did a little bit of a sail, explored this random island we found over here, and doing some looking around for other things. We managed to find Tikawara, so time to take a look at this island and see what can happen here. I am quite curious. Surprisingly, not that many islands, but eh. Alright, Tikawara, Deep Summer of Fonetsu 2828. So we've got a cage, Kwaru hut, a shrine, communal storage hut, and the chieftain's hut, and the trading post.
Sure.
Trading post will be good to look at. Ooh, Maya, you leveled up. Alright, point in stealth, point in survival. Get 2 abilities. Let's see. Ranger and their companion each get a deflection bonus against ranged attacks. That's good. Empower, 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 empower. Alright, so I got one. I'll go with Concussive Tranquilizer because then I'll have taken something. Sure.
A ship! I am saved!
Are you now? The dwarf fans himself with a dish rag. His face is dark and shiny with exertion. Sweat colors wide crescents on his shirt. He looks at you like a drowning man would look at dry land.
Weeks I've been stranded here. The Valiant Trading Company sends no one. Unless...
He squints at you, dabbing his brow feverishly with a corner of the rag. He swallows and aims a hopeful look at Palagina.
Diverus. The company's concerns are the Duke's concerns, which makes them my concerns. But saving your skin was not in my orders.
Then it is the will of gods and countrymen alike that I remain stranded.
Crestfallen, he raises a hand to his brow and looks out upon the open sea. Stranded? This is a settled land.
By whose standard do you call this settled?
With an anxious swallow, he glances over his shoulder at a sleepy ramshackle village. His gaze darts from one grass-thatched hut to another as if expecting some unspeakable horror to emerge. Follow his gaze, see what he's looking at. He isn't fixating on anything in particular, but his eyes widen with unease whenever one of the island Amawa draw near. He flinches and clears his throat.
I only tarry here because my shipmates went to Pokokohara to search for Luminous Adra.
He brushes an insect off his sleeve.
I worry that Ruano, the local chieftain, gave Captain Bez and my crewmates a false lead.
He knots the rag in his hands, pulling it taut.
Or didn't know the way himself and was just trying to impress the outsider.
Maya winks down at Ashiza.
Ugh, this is a terrible place.
And why would he do that?
Why would I go bobbing for reason in shark-infested waters?
He waves his rag like a handkerchief.
You get a pass because I like that one.
Maya folds her arms and grins.
Ruano was the last to speak with the captain before she set sail. He squats in the hut northeast of that pitiful market.
He nods toward the gutted hull of a ship.
I would have joined her, but my stomach... something did not agree. Now it is weeks since they should have returned. I'm only the galley cook, not a search party.
I'd say he's one clove short of a bulb.
A cozy for my staring. It is unusual to see one of the locals so outfitted.
He glances up and down at Maya. Mostly up.
More unusual than a dwarf with no sense of direction.
Vector isn't a Valian name.
Bargroon. My grandparents gave up their nomadic ways when they moved to the Republics. But I see the appeal of staying in one place, one safe place.
He dabs at the back of his neck as he glances around. I'll keep an eye out. Maybe they found something.
Agrasima, this is hope to my ears. Payment is assumed with the company. They are quick to buy what they do not have.
He nods, the first signs of relief showing in his red-rimmed eyes. What has he so on edge?
When we landed on Tikawara, the chieftain gave us a welcome feast for the dukes. We feasted, danced, drank, and slept. Only so we could feast, dance, and drink more.
The ghost of a smile flits across his face.
Good to know your priorities were in proper order on company time.
Her dark eyelids droop over her golden eyes, glaring at the sweaty dwarf.
Tell it to the captain. It was all her idea.
He backs away a step, hands raised. Well, you You were awfully busy for a man claiming to be ill.
Perco Blancanet. Music and ale are medicine for the soul.
He pats a hand over his heart and gives you a sheepish look.
Even so, they did nothing to soften Anaharu. He said we had come to rob and plunder. He and Nairi turned the villagers against us.
He wipes a fresh rivulet of sweat from his temple.
After that, we slept on the boat and took turns watching the shore. Except for me. I had to rest and recover, of course. But in the early hours, our lookout Soruano and Anaharu disappeared together.
Where did they go?
I am sure I do not know. All I heard was that they left the village. Then by the afternoon, only Ruano returned. Now no one here will even talk of Anaharu. Suspicious, no?
Huh. Perspiration gleams on his forehead.
Our captain was eager to leave before the winds changed again.
You mentioned Nairi.
The priestess? She imagines me in the jaws of our fish goddess. I know it.
He fans himself even more rapidly.
She lurks in the shrine next to that awful statue. I cannot stand her wicked looks, but if she does not scare you, then maybe you talk to her.
I also need
The
supplies.
captain left all but the essentials with me. I have sustained myself trading with the villagers. Così, but I'm almost out of ale.
He gives you a weak smile and shows off his wares. Alright. Various supplies and the like. Asina's tricorn. Ranged accuracy and lower reload time. Ooh, that's actually pretty good. That would be very good for you. Let's see. Swordsman's bracers, Stormrunner cloak. Gauntlets of reliability. 15% of misses converted to grazes with proficient weapons. Okay, but you know what? Asina's tricorn. I am actually gonna go ahead and buy that. Specifically
I must
for
watch the
you.
supplies at the trading post. You will come to check on me, yes?
I certainly will. And you are gonna wear that hat. Very nice. And I just realized I have this. Gauntlets of greater reliability. That would be good to have. Oh, what the hell? What's up with my ear? It's accuracy. You've got regular reliability. I'll give you greater reliability. Sounds good to me. And I'll give you this. Seems
What do you
fine.
think, Ishi?
Small fish, more bone than meat, dry on the rack. Their eyes are sunken and their scales dull. You know what? Let's take a look at the trading post area.
Sure.
This is woven from Tikawara seeds, a hardy but flexible material smelling of sea salt.
Filthy lizards. Even here, I always smell them.
The woman stands outside the half-finished building, arms crossed, as if in protest of any shelter it might offer. She looks like she's scowling, but the scars on her face make it hard to tell.
An outsider in Tikawara? Who are you, stranger?
Her hand strays toward a hide belt cinched tightly across her waist. I'm Laniara, captain of the Dhow. I forgot to name that.
A captain. If you had sailed downwind of the island, you would have moved on, I say. I tell Ranga Ruano that the stench of Tikawara will drive away friend and outsider alike. Do you smell it?
She flares her nostrils and grimaces. 4 Lagafaith. Their odor suggests they're young, still hatchlings and in distress.
The words of a skilled hunter. There is no food on this barren island that those monsters do not steal.
Her scars are like seams, tugging her face into a scowl.
Always they circle our village looking for weaknesses.
She shakes her finger, making an argument that she seems to have made many times before.
I push the cage with the young ones farther toward the beach, but I smell them even here.
It's no wonder they come here when the beach smells like a Lagafaith hatchery.
Better to keep them under our thumb than sharpening blow darts, I say. A week ago, I tracked the fish to Hoina Ravine, so I challenged the Mataru to a hunting competition. My mother's belt for the brood mother's head.
Grinning, she thumbs the hide belt slung across her waist.
It is not every day that newcomers land on our beaches. What say you show me how outsiders deal with Lagufath?
Yeah, a little competition sounds like fun to me.
Understand they are animals. You must rely on blades, I say, not words. Hunting tales of our ancestors say the brood will scatter when their fish Ranga is killed. No need to chase the children if you cut the head from the mother.
Yeesh. So what are you doing with this shipwreck?
The Renga wanted a trading post.
She glowers at the strange building, which appears to be part scaffolding and part shipwreck.
He said it will bring more Valians like the sweaty dwarf. Then they will bring food and supplies and their sweaty money.
A shiver of disgust ripples across her face. And what's wrong with that?
Always I stand here. This is no job for the Mataru. We hunt, fight, and lead.
She paces next to the trading post, restless energy practically quivering through her arms and legs. You look like you're supervising.
Someone must.
So why aren't you hunting or fighting?
What is there to hunt on this heap of rock and moss? No game. Only Lagofath skulking in Hoina Ravine. Even the antelope know there is no fit home. The grasses are thin and the trees are like a child's bones. Small and soft. Even to build this, we must hike up the mountain for wood.
She raps the side of the trading post with her knuckles.
At last, a job work.
Okay, so this is where the resting is. We have +2 resolve and minus 25% hostile effect duration, or +3 intellect and attacks interrupt with empowered attacks. Not the best. And you're not a merchant. I can change my group if I want, but I don't right now. These fruits are small and underripe. Most are riddled with wormholes. And a couple workers there. Small crustaceans skitter across the rocks in the tide pool. Also, it hit me, I forgot to actually sell things that I've picked up recently.
No sign of my Ekosi.
Yeah, I forgot to sell things. So... I think an exceptional greatsword would go for the person who's here. The rest of this we can sell, though. Okay. Okay. Sell these. Sell all these. Oh yeah, we did get some other items recently. And that's all there, and we get 17,000. This sword, you have an exceptional greatsword. That is an exceptional greatsword. Also, let's see. Skeletal Wizard's Grimoire, Adventurer's Grimoire, Mercenary Wizard Grimoire, and Catherine's Grimoire. That is a unique one. Not that I really changed the grimoire we use. I can put some things up here, which would actually be a very good thing to do. Boop, boop, boop. There's that. There's some of that. There's some of that. There's some of that. We've got a cannon we don't really need right now. I'll hold on to the tar loaf for now. This'll do. Okay. Let's take a look at the southwest side of the beach. See if there's anyone down here. Or anything down here. An abandoned cat! Miri. You are... Bonus to intellect, and enemy weapon attacks against your party will crit less frequently. And nothing over here. Let's take a look. There's the Log of Faith.
Chirping. I have no fish for you.
Log of Faith hatchlings. Okay.
Full tides.
The fisherman lowers his head in greeting and wipes his hands on his sarong, which is mottled with fish guts. He doesn't meet your gaze. What can you tell me about Tikawara?
The high tide is stingy with fish, and the low tide even more so.
He points down the beach to a lonely rack strung with a few scrawny fish. And why are those Lagofaith caged?
Himwihi and the other Mataru found them when they explored the island.
He looks at the creatures with mingled trepidation and disgust. They bare their teeth in response, flies buzzing around their clouded, gunky eyes and the dull patches on their scales.
Said maybe we train them to build. And if the soil and sea are misers here, then we eat them.
He shrugs, scratching at his incurved belly.
I do not believe I have ever experienced hunger so great that I would resort to eating lagufaf.
A shiver sends a ripple through Palagina's feathers. He blinks at your companion impassively, glancing toward the sea with an air of mild impatience. Alright. So we have that there. Got the chieftain's hut up there. Let's see if we can find anything up in this direction first. We'll leave the chieftain's hut for later.
Village starves, and you hide Kowiki fruit?
I hide nothing, you bloated puffer fish. Traitor! Gatty's jaws will close around you.
Oh dear.
Confess, Tamal, or will you let good food rot?
A young warrior's forehead is furrowed with lines and beaded with perspiration. He stands over a man bound to a pole.
Does mine look like a full belly, idiot? Question the rest of the Raparu. We all hunger.
Every word out of the bound man emerges as an agonized wheeze. He glares up at Makumu.
Disgrace. Any other Raparu has worked 10 times in a day what you have in your life, and they do not complain.
The warrior pulls a dagger from his belt and thumbs the tip thoughtfully. Blinking, he turns to you wearing a bright, friendly smile.
Roger, we can't just let this injustice stand. Do something, or I might.
Don't worry, I intend to.
You do? I mean, of course you do.
She grins big and brassy, unable to hide her happiness with you.
I say, this outsider speaks her mind like a Mataru.
He touches his chin and looks over Jody before focusing his attention back to you.
Another outsider. You visit Tikawara in hungry times.
Makumu sighs through his nose.
For what do you make of this hagfish, huh? Will Tamao confess if I tighten the ropes?
You know you catch more flies with honey than vinegar. He blinks, momentarily perplexed.
Pakeho caught this wretch stealing the last of the Kowiki fruit. The tribe was to feast on it for a harvest ceremony.
I stole no Kowiki, but I wish I had. I would have hid it somewhere most unpleasant.
He bares his teeth in a defiant grin.
You hear this? A second chance we give, and Tamao throws it in our faces.
Makumu holds the blade level with Tamao's heart. He's done this before.
Lied and stolen? Akira, when we have food, he takes more than he deserves. He steals baskets and pots, and even pilfered a spearhead from a warrior on the hunt. Exasperated,
Makumu mops his brow with the back of his hand.
I say there is no person in Tikawara who he has not wronged in some way. Maybe no person in the Deadfire.
And what say you, Tamao?
I say I deserve what others have in plenty. Shade, a full belly, a moment to kneel on cool sands.
He glares up at Makumu.
We stopped being a tribe when Ruano dragged us into the path of the outsiders. Now we can only save ourselves.
You shame us, Tamao. To return in your next life as a coconut crab would be too kind.
Makumu stamps his foot, kicking up a flurry of dust. What was this Kowiki ceremony?
We would have eaten the last of the Kowiki as a tribe. This way we give our thanks to Kahopa, the eel of life. Now this cannot happen. Our harvest fails because this one puts his empty stomach higher than the gods.
Did anyone think saving the seeds might be a good idea?
This is not done. To consume the fruit, seeds, and all. This is how we pray to Kahopa for bounty.
Would it make things better if I had some spare Kowiki fruit on hand?
I say, missing food is not the problem. Tamao betrays the tribe, dishonors the Raparu, denies all of us Kahopa's mercy.
He winces as if ashamed to even discuss it.
And he will surely wash back into our nets as a mudfish in the next life if he does not tell us where the Kowiki fruit is.
He raises his voice again, just to be certain Tamao hears it.
I might have an old primer on Raotayan naval punishments lying around. You could give those a try.
Easy, Maya.
You speak like an outlander, but your face is of the tribes.
Forget I said anything.
So you have your guilty man. What's to be done?
Pikeho's word is enough to give Tamao over to the waves.
Oh, perfectly civilized. Go on.
This is our way.
Better to drown as an innocent man than starve with you fools.
Tamao spits, but without the forward momentum, it just dribbles on his chin. Mukumu turns his gaze away, doing his best to ignore him.
Justice does not fill our stomachs or our hearts. It brings the gods no closer to ending this famine.
Mukumu's hand strays toward his stomach. He glances out to the horizon. I owe the gods a favor. Your Kawiki is as good as found.
Akira, you would do this? I say, our Ranga will dedicate the Feast of the Last Kawiki to your name.
He claps you on the shoulder, leaving Tamao all but forgotten.
Until the Kawiki is found, I will delight in prodding this stubborn eel for answers.
He touches the point of his dagger, his lips spreading into a broad grin.
You are free to question him in your custom, I say. And Peheko, he tarries often by the beach.
I'd like to know about the village.
Then you must speak with the Ranga. His lodge is at the top of the hill, past the trading post. Nairi also knows much, but she is quiet ever since.
His eyes go wide as he catches himself. He clears his throat.
Nairi, she tends the shrine in the northwest part of town, near the statue of Ngati. Yes.
Well, that's curious. And what do you do here?
I am a warrior, like most Mataru. Can you not tell?
He poses, standing tall and flipping his blade in his hand.
We have little reason to fight on Tikawara, except when the fishermen drink too much of the dwarf man's liquor. But these are only small fights, not like it was on the island we left before, when the pirates, the slave...
His expression goes slack. For several seconds, his widening eyes stare blankly into some remembered horror. After a moment, he snaps back.
But what did I say? Tikawara does not give in abundance, but there are worse things, Akira.
Seems he has problems with pirates and slavers. Alright then, let's speak to Tamao. The bound man casts a weary stare down at you, his arms tightening weakly beneath their restraints.
I don't like this, Watcher. Is there nothing we can do to help?
You look at me for what? To watch me shrivel up in the sun?
It may be a trick of the light, but the man's emaciated scowl does appear shriveled. Tell me about yourself.
I have seen better days than this. I labor for the tribe, but our Ranga saves the best of everything for his warriors. For what does a warrior need with a full stomach when we are not at war? Then maybe you ask someone with
I have some
both feet on the
questions.
ground. I need to conserve my
So,
strength.
you stole the last of the tribe's Kawiki.
If only my brain and belly had coordinated, I say I would have tried sooner.
He glances longingly toward the hut north of the Rangas.
Keho hates me because I insult his puny catches of fish. All he does is weigh down his boat. For this, he accuses me.
So then what's your side of the story?
Keho says I was skulking by the drying hut north of the Ranga's home. Akira, this is so. I would have taken the Kohiki, but it was already gone.
Can you think of anyone else who might have taken it?
It is said the Ruparu share one empty stomach. Blame any of them, I say. The tribe drives me out like jerky because I am hated, not because I am a Kawiki thief.
Okay then. So he says he didn't steal it. Well, we were pointed at this guy here, so I can speak to Pekeo, see if he knows anything.
You need something?
Mukumu says you caught Tamao stealing Kawiki.
Akira.
He pauses and stares at you with wide eyes.
Tamao was creeping around the drying hut where we stored Kawiki for the ceremony, north of our Ranga's home.
He tips to his head to gesture away, holding your eye contact all the while.
I grabbed Tamao by the wrist and dragged him to Mukumu. We found all of the Kawiki were gone. The snake brought this on himself, I say. Now Mukumu will deliver him to Tangaloa's maw, where he belongs.
Sounds like the type of story a Kawiki thief would tell.
Tamao is the thief. Akira, day and night I catch fish for the tribe.
Pekehu shakes his head, chest heaving as the smell of perspiration thickens. Tamao didn't have any Kawiki, did he? He opens his mouth to retort, but closes it and hangs his head.
It is said the gods piss on the souls of liars before sending them back to Aora as krill. Tamao stole no Kawiki.
So you lied.
Kahopa must have made Tamao from sand lice, because he gives nothing to the tribe, only takes.
Did you steal the Kawiki?
No! Akira, I did not do this. I provide for the tribe. Not like that louse Tamao.
Well, Tamao isn't the one implicating an innocent man.
Tamao is as innocent as a skulking tidepool worm.
Pikehu spits forcefully to the ground.
He hates the tribe. Pity and charity fill his belly and shell pouch, and he has not strained a muscle to serve anyone but himself.
Pikehu balls his hands at his sides.
Knowing this does not bring the Kowiki back to the drying hut, but it will help to heal the tribe.
Would Makumu accept your retraction without Kowiki to prove it?
No. He wants the Kowiki and the guilty. So do we all, I say. I cannot say if the true thief covered their tracks, since Makumu never looked for clues.
Pikehu shrugs and calmly brushes sand off his foot.
But the drying hut? Ikira. In his sandals. This is where I would look.
You know what? Let's go to the drying hut and see if there's anything there. I still have a few minutes. We'll ignore the other locations for now and just go take a look there.
Step back,
Oh.
all of you.
The broad-shouldered Amawa at the center of the huddle takes a cautious step back. His gaze never breaks from the tribesmen who have him surrounded, and his hands never stray far from his weapons.
You've all got the wrong idea. I'm waiting for a shipment of sailcloth from the homeland. Is that going to be a problem?
His expression turns stony as the implied threat crosses his lips.
Then what say you about this? Coded gibberish, or I'm an Orlin.
Someone from the crowd tosses a sheaf of papers to the ground by Harama's feet. The assembled tribesmen mutter their assent.
Damn it. He's about 2 seconds away from starting a brawl. I've got to step in.
Does this have anything to do with us? Furrowing her brow, Maya ignores you and sets her attention on the crowd. She clears her throat loud enough to turn heads in the direction of your party.
One against a mob isn't exactly even. Ever heard of a fair fight?
Maya cracks her knuckles and rolls her shoulders.
Ha! Company warships blow our canoes to splinters, and you call us unfair? You foreign imps are all the same.
Turning to you and Maya, Harama gives away no recognition other than a flicker of gratitude. What seems to be the problem here? Let's try and take care of this peacefully.
As surely as sharks circle spilled blood, this one has been casting an unwelcome shadow on our village.
One of the villagers steps forward and gestures to Harama.
We found coded documents in his quarters, and he defended himself with lies. Outsider spy.
Mutters of assent rise in volume from the assembled villagers. What makes you think it's anything nefarious?
Because Rauatai hungers after these isles, like a tiger lurking in the tall grass and whetting its chops.
If you townies are dumb enough to go blundering into an alpha predator, you deserve what's coming to you.
Maya squares her stance and shakes her head. Easy, Maya.
Who are you to speak in his defense? And who is your traitor friend who postures like she is not one of us?
I've done good by your people if you would but remember my face. Whispers spread among the group as the fighters struggle to recall from where they recognize her features. You hear the muted ripple of agreement smother their suspicion.
Harama, we will have eyes on you. Cause no trouble.
The leader of the gang points from his eyes to Harama's and then signals the rest to depart.
I owe you thanks for that, stranger.
The big Rauataian stands at ease and looks you up and down, nodding with approval.
Now here is a welcome sight.
He turns to face Maya, and a smile brightens his features.
Is that little Ashiza? Hop over here, you old terror.
Harama opens his arms, and Maya's bird darts enthusiastically closer, pecking at Harama's shins.
Ishi town. You don't know where he's been.
Maya arches her brow, smiling in spite of herself. Don't I get an introduction?
Captain, this is Harama. We were shipmates on the Flying Buttress.
She nods to him, their eye contact lingering an extra moment.
That's a word for it. You could also say we were...
Loyal servants of the homeland. That's enough out of you.
Maya touches her brow and shakes her head, hiding the hint of a smile.
Afraid this isn't a social visit. This comes from up high.
She passes him a roll of parchment. His demeanor hardens the moment he unseals the missive. Worming his tongue over his teeth, Harama lifts up the parchment to view it against a light source.
Atsura's up to his tricks again, I see. Thank you, Maya. I've been waiting for this.
That sounds malicious.
Maya, why is she asking?
Captain, later. I promise we can discuss it later.
If you're
I
sure.
guess we're done here. It's been, well, sort of like old times. In a good way.
Maya grins, planting her hands on her hips.
Especially seeing you coming and going again. When the dust settles, maybe we could...
I'd like that. Ishi misses you something awful.
Say no more. Good luck in your travels and other adventures. Ishiza, you keep your feathers clean.
He salutes Maya and steps back with a wink.
I need to check in with Atsura. Mind if we take a detour to the Brass Citadel?
Reporting in on your mission, I take it?
Something like that. Atsura probably wants to make sure I'm not wasting too many resources on his little errand. Nothing to worry about.
Maya shrugs, gesturing to be off. You do have something to say.
You probably have some questions about what we've been doing.
A few, yes.
We found Harama in quite a state, didn't we? It's no wonder you'd be curious about what's going on. Harama is a sociable type of guy. Getting to know people is as easy to him as breathing is to you or me. Atsura set him loose so he can get to know as many people as possible.
So he is a spy.
That's one way you could put it. He's keeping an eye on Tikawara. Who comes and goes, what sorts of things they discuss. Atsura is committed to a more peaceful Deadfire. But he's just one man. He needs good people to shoulder the burden with him.
So Harama's just eyes and ears?
Only Atsura knows for sure. Harama might not even have all the facts. I certainly don't.
That mob said he encoded missives. Was that true?
Maybe. Probably. Let's just say we're not the first people to deliver Harama a missive that looked like one thing and read like another.
What have we been delivering, Maya?
Truthfully? I don't know. They looked like ordinary documents to me, but I'm sure that's how Atsura wanted it. Atsura has a new code for every hour of the day. He probably has cipher keys tattooed all over his body.
And what's to stop me from telling Onikaza and Aruahi about this?
Don't be dense. They're smart enough to assume that Rauatai has spies. And if they're really smart, they're spying on us too. Though I doubt it.
Well, that's all then, for now.
For what it's worth, you're doing a great thing for the Deadfire. You'll see that someday.
I have
got some
questions?
answers.
No, I do not. Alright, well, much as I wanted to see about doing something for the storage hut, I think we'll have to do it in the next episode, because this one's gone on long enough. Next episode, we'll look through the rest of Tikawara, see what we can find and what can happen. Till then, I am Chester44, also known as Fly. That is Laniara, Palagina, Jyoti, Maya, and Aloth. This has been a Let's Play of Pillars of Eternity 2, Deadfire, and I shall see you all next time.